More insane collaborations like J Balvin, Travis Scott, A Ma Maniere, and even the return of classic colorways that we've waited many years to see is just some of what we're going to be going over today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2024 Jordan Ultimate Release Guide. We're going to be going over the release date, retail, and whether or not each pair is going to sell out or maybe even go on sale. Now, of course, you could expect a lot of these Jordans to have early shock drops, and as always, Endurance always has your back with all of the precise early information for every single one of them. Not to mention, Endurance covers much more than just sneaker reselling, like concert tickets, stocks, Amazon FBA, and much more on that same link below. But I also make completely free sneaker guides with links, tips, and urgent notifications for completely free on that same link below. Not to mention, you also get a completely free channel from Endurance on that same link, which is currently the free Chick-fil-A channel. Yes, I'll show you guys how you can get Chick-fil-A for completely free. But with that said, let's jump right into all of 2024 Jordans. With a bang. Not. First, on January 10th for $175, we have the Jordan 2 women's sale. You know, these are just fantastic. Nah, I mean, let's be real. No one's excited for these. Why are you dropping so many fucking Jordan 2s? So obviously these are not going to be profitable. Probably going to go below retail. If you want a personal pair, just be patient. Not much to say about these, really. We have another colorway of the Jordan 1 Low Chinese New Year. This time, it is themed for the year of the dragon, since it is 2024. In addition to the culturally themed colors, we get beautiful details of dragon scales across that green part of the sneaker. I was born in the year 2000, the year of the dragon, so I'm really hoping I could get my hands on a pair of these, but I know it's going to be difficult considering how these Jordan 1 Chinese New Year releases work. I know a lot of them are extremely limited. One pair I know was 5,000 pairs, and they mostly released just in China, so it's going to be a difficult one, but nonetheless, we're going to try our best, of course. Anyway, I'd expect these to be profitable with a very good margin, like other colorways of these Jordan 1 Chinese New Years that we've seen in the past. I don't think this one is going to be too different. Then, on January 27th for $180, we have the Jordan 1 Yellow Ochre dropping. This reminds me of a Jordan 1 that we saw back in 2018, I think it was, part of a pack of 4 Jordan 1s. The name is slipping me right now, but I'll put them on the screen. Those are super hyped up back when they first released. They're obviously part of a more limited pack. I don't think these are going to be as limited, of course. It's definitely a clean colorway, and on top of that, they have a black swoosh, white mid panel, and a white toe box. Those typically tend to garner more demand. Yellow isn't the most wearable colorway. It isn't the most in demand, but nonetheless, I do still think there is potential, at least, for these to sell just slightly above retail, leaving potential for maybe lunch money with a very poor margin. Nothing crazy, because Jordan 1s in general haven't been performing too well lately, but we'll see how these end up doing. I think I do still have a little bit of hope for them, but either way, they make for really solid personals if you do want a yellow pair of Jordan 1s. Then jumping into February, on the 3rd for $200, the Jordan 6 Yellow Ochre is going to be dropping. This is pretty much the same exact color and very similar material too, at least on the yellow part, which is that nubuck suede material. I think these look pretty nice. I'm personally a fan of the yellow, but I know most people aren't going to be, unfortunately, and in general, Jordan 6s just don't tend to do too well, so I'd have to say for these, personal only. But if you do want a personal, I'm not sure these are going to go on sale. If anything, maybe slightly below retail in the secondary market. Next up, everybody's favorite, we got a Jordan 2 Low again, this time in the Python colorway. These are dropping on February 7th for $155. That's right, Jordan Brand had the audacity to increase the retail by $5 on these. Are you Personally, I'm not a fan of them, but I know I'm slandering Jordan 2s a lot, so I gotta say something nice about them, I guess. Nah, I don't have to. Next up, on February 10th for $200, we got the Jordan 13 Blue Gray. Personally, not a big fan of this colorway, but you know, they might be nice if you're Hertz employee. You can't make this shit up. They put an ad for Hertz right next to that. Like most Jordan 13s recently, I'd have to say these are probably just going to be personals, and you might even be able to grab them on sale. Then next up, on February 14th for $180, we got the Jordan 1 High Women's Metallic Gold. Personally, not a big fan of this colorway with the gold and overall white. Maybe not the most wearable, but you know, if you dress like, what's the f***er's name from Johnny Test, you might be able to pull these off in that case. But in terms of resale, I don't expect these to be profitable like most Jordan 1s recently. These are probably going to be just personals, and if you're patient, you might even be able to grab these on sale like we've seen on metallic Jordan 1s before. Next up, we got another Jordan 1 85, this time the Jordan 1 85 metallic burgundy. Now, this actually is not the Jordan 1 metallic red colorway. It's actually slightly darker, and now it's going to be making its return in OG form, the 85 cut. These drop on February 16th for $200 on Nike sneakers and Nike boutiques. 85 cuts have managed to maintain pretty decent demand on each release and remain profitable, and I think this will remain the case for these as well, so most likely lunch money or slightly better with a subpar to decent margin on most sizes and slightly better for the larger sizes. Next up, we have the Jordan 4 Bred Reimagined. I'm sure tons of us are super excited to get a Bred 4 back in general since the last release was in 2019, but I'm not sure how to feel about the leather reimagined aspect of it. I think I would have preferred a simple vintage, aged look with the original materials like we saw in the Jordan 1 Lost and Found, but overall, I still like them. Anyway, these drop on February 17th for $215. Also, you could expect an early shock drop for these and many more for upcoming hype sneakers, so make sure to follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, for urgent updates on these. And for early information on all kinds of shock drops and much more, Endurance always has your back. Like the recent Jordan 12 or Jordan 1 Satin, Endurance always has your back, along with much more, which goes far beyond just sneaker reselling. So if you're looking for a profitable side hustle, you could consider joining with the link in the description below. Anyway, you can expect these Jordan 4 Breds to be profitable with a good margin. Despite it being a new material, it still is one of the most sought after Jordan 4 colorways, and Jordan 4s just have really solid demand in general. Let me know if you're planning to grab a personal though. Next up, on February 24th for $180, we have the Jordan 1 High Reverse Panda. These pretty much have the same color blocking as the Jordan 1 Shadow, but they are of course in white and black. Personally, not a big fan of this color blocking, but it did look cool in the shadows. Obviously, that's a classic Jordan 1 colorway. Can't say the same for these. Unfortunately, like many Jordan 1s recently, especially without a black swoosh white mid panel, I'd have to say these are probably going to be just personals, and you'll probably be able to get them for below retail in the secondary market too. They might even go on sale. We'll see. Also on February 24th for $180, we'll be seeing the Jordan 14 Low Women's Mineral Teal. This is definitely one of the more unique colorways. In general, I'm not a big fan of Jordan 14s, and I know a lot of you guys probably aren't either, especially when it comes to Jordan 14 lows, but the colorway is pretty cool nonetheless. Like most Jordan 14s, I'd have to say personal only for these, and you might even be able to get them on sale if you are patient. Then on February 28th for $200, we'll be seeing the Jordan 5 Women's Lucky Green. For once, Jordan Brand's actually timing a themed release pretty well. That's because obviously St. Patrick's Day is only a little while away, so you'll actually be able to get your pair in before the holiday. So often we're used to seeing Jordan Brand dropping Halloween sneakers in November or on Halloween, and then by the time you get them, it's already past. Like, what's the point of that? This time, it looks like they're actually doing it right. So if you are looking for a themed colorway for March season, this is pretty much perfect for you. In general, it's a pretty nice colorway. You know, you got those Celtic colors going on. I know a lot of people will like those. Personally, not a big fan of it, but it's definitely not the worst Jordan 5 we've seen. Unfortunately though, like most Jordan 5s, I do expect these to just be personals. I don't expect them to go on sale, but we'll see what happens. Then on March 2nd for $210, we have the Jordan 3 Craft Ivory dropping. These look really close to an aged version of the Pure Money 3s. Of course, they're not the same, they're not all white, but it does look pretty interesting, especially if you look closely on the tongue at the Jumpman. Pretty cool how they have that second Jumpman on it, sort of like a shadow. So overall, I definitely think it's a pretty nice Jordan 3. Unfortunately, like most Jordan 3s, I'd still expect these to just be personals for the most part, but I can see these being decent local sellers if you manage to sell these without platform fees, or definitely if you have no tax, especially in those larger sizes, but we'll see as we approach the drop. Overall, wouldn't expect that much from these, but they are pretty solid personals if you ask me. Then on March 6th for $170, we'll be seeing the Jordan 1 High Women's Dusted Clay drop. I don't think these are going to do well at all. Probably going to sell for below retail in the secondary market. You'll probably be able to get them on sale too. not much to say about these otherwise. Then on March 9th, for $210, we have the Jordan 5 Olive dropping. Very similar to the Jordan 1 that we talked about just earlier. Obviously, green and orange isn't going to be the easiest to pull off, but because of the shades, I definitely can see it being possible. If you're creative enough, props to you. Personally, I don't know if I could do it, but can see it working. Pretty cool colorways, definitely something different from Jordan, so you do like to see that. Overall though, like most Jordan 5s, I'd have to say these are just going to be personals, and you might even be able to grab them on sale if you are patient. Kicking off spring with a bang, on March 16th for $200, we will be seeing the Jordan 4 women's sale. This is coming in all white with gold accents. Initially, I thought it looked kind of tacky, but after seeing these images, I have to say it actually looks pretty nice, and it looks like they have some pretty premium qualities. At least I'm hoping that that leather isn't all plasticky, but by looking at the tongue, seeing that it is embroidered, does look pretty awesome, have to say. I'm definitely looking forward to getting a personal pair. In terms of resale, if the retail really is $200 and not $225, then I would expect these to be profitable with a subpar to decent margin, especially in the larger sizes, 10 and above. Next up, on March 20th for $210, we have the Jordan 14 Flint Gray. Now, I understand a lot of you guys might not like Jordan 14s, but for those of you who do, this is a great colorway, very universal, easy to match with almost everything. Very hard to go wrong with these. In terms of resale, like most Jordan 14s, I would expect these to just be personals though, and you might even be able to grab them on sale if you are patient, so keep your eyes open if you want a personal. Next up, on March 23rd for $210, we'll be getting the Jordan 9 Powder Blue back finally for the first time in a very long time. We haven't seen a lot of Jordan 9 colorways released this year or last year, so I'm definitely excited to be seeing another one of these classic colorways. The last time we saw these, I think, was in 1994, and that's the picture you're seeing on the screen right now. Obviously, I do expect a new pair to look just like these though. This is just the best we could show you right now. Overall though, definitely excited to get a pair of these in my personal collection. It's very similar to that UNC colorway that everyone seems to really like right now. In terms of resale value, Jordan 9s in general don't tend to do the best, but because this is a UNC-like colorway, I actually do think that there is potential for lunch money on these with a poor to subpar margin. We'll see as we get closer to the drop. Make sure you subscribe and enable post notifications so you stay up to date with everything, and of course how you could cop these too. Later on March 30th for $180, we'll be seeing the Jordan 1 High Craft Sea Glass. Now, while this is just a mock-up courtesy of Z Sneakerheads, it unfortunately does seem like they are going to look pretty similar to this, and it's basically just a less attractive version of the Jordan 1 Seafoam. Those actually looked pretty nice. I can't really say the same for these, but they might be your taste. In terms of resale, I'm definitely not optimistic about these. I'd have to say these are just going to be personals. In fact, you might also be able to grab these for under retail, whether that's in the secondary market or on sale. Then jumping to April, on April 6th for $180, we have the Jordan 1 High Green Glow dropping. I know a lot of us are waiting on those Green Glow Jordan 4s to finally come back, but these will have to suffice in the meantime. Honestly, I think it's a really solid colorway, at least if you like that green glow look. The color blocking is fantastic too. You always have to love when they use the black swoosh with the white mid panel and white toe box. With these, it looks absolutely incredible. Definitely a personal that I want in my collection. Let me know what you guys think about them though. In terms of resale, like most Jordan 1s though, I'd still have to say these are probably just going to end up being personals unless Nike does end up changing production in 2024 to react to the new economy. That's a full video I might end up making too, so let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in. Next up, on April 13th for $190, we are finally getting the return of a legendary colorway, and of course that is the SpaceJam colorway. We last saw the highs drop in 2016, and since then we have not seen them. They dropped with the 45 on the back of them. Now unfortunately this is not the mid Jordan 11, this is the lows, but they will definitely suffice because I think a lot of us want that SpaceJam 11 inside of our collection, and this is the best we can get for now. This is also the very first time that we're seeing this colorway in a low version. We already got to see the Cool Gray as lows, we got to see the Concord, we've even got to see the Breads as lows, and all those I think came out really nice, and this is going to be awesome heading into the spring season. In terms of resale though, I can't say the same. Most Jordan 11 lows haven't been performing too great, and a lot of that also has to do with the fact that retail is elevated at $190 compared to what they used to be, which was only like $175. But considering it is such a classic colorway, I do still think there is potential for some brick profit with a poor margin if you you have no tax, or maybe even more if you have local buyers, considering Jordan 11s tend to be really easy local sales. A little less exciting, on April 13th for $190, we'll be getting another Jordan 11 low. This time it's going to be in the football gray and midnight navy colorway. This is definitely a nice colorway, especially combined with that icy outsole. Definitely looks really nice. Unfortunately though, I would not expect these to be profitable, personals only. Nonetheless, I think a lot of us are looking forward to these, just heading into that spring season. It'll be a great, nice pair of lows. Next up, on April 20th for $200, we will be seeing the Jordan 4 Women's Vivid Sulfur. This is definitely one of the more unique Jordan 4 colorways we've seen. Now granted, this is just a mock-up courtesy of Z Sneakerheads, so they're not going to look exactly like this, but given the fact that they are going to have white and coconut milk vivid sulfur anthracite, this should be pretty close to what they're going to end up looking like, considering how Jordan Brand typically does their color blocking. It's definitely not the worst looking Jordan 4 we've seen so far, but I am skeptical of profitability right now. Nonetheless, I'm a big Jordan 4 fan. I know a lot of you guys are too, so I think I still do want a pair of these in my personal collection. Considering the Jordan 4 Fire Red ended up not being profitable, I would say these probably won't either, unless of course Jordan Brand does change up their production for the new economy, as I was alluding to earlier. Again though, that's something that we'll have to make a whole dedicated video to. Right now, for all these, let's just assume it is going to be the same. Also on April 20th for $210, the Jordan 5 Sail should be dropping. This is definitely one of the cleaner Jordan 5 colorways we've seen, and it's more of a wearable everyday sneaker. Although this is just a mock-up, it should look pretty similar, and if it does, I think a lot of us will be excited to see these, since earthy tones on Jordans have been getting more and more popular. Then later on April 27th for $200, the Jordan 3 Green Glow is going to be dropping. Yep, they're deciding to drop every other silhouette other than the Jordan 4s. I don't know why this is. Maybe they're just delaying it because they know that's going to be the best one, but nonetheless, I do have to say these do look pretty awesome. They might be a little harder to pull off, but they might still be something worth adding in the collection. Overall though, in terms of resale, I wouldn't expect these to be profitable like most Jordan 3s we've seen recently. Then jumping into May, we got another Jordan 3, this time the Jordan 3 Women's Georgia Peach. And while this is just a mock-up, if they do end up looking anything like this, I have to say this is a really clean Jordan 3 colorway, and I'm assuming it's going to be pretty close to this, considering the color code includes that nice clay sail cement gray, so they should be very similar color blocking to what we see on white cement Jordan 3s, which looks just like this, and that Georgia Peach accent on the back and tongue could really just bring these to life. Unfortunately though, like most recent Jordan 3s, I'd still expect these to just be personals though. Then on May 10th for $140, we'll be seeing the Jordan 1 Low Shadow dropping. Now yes, this is an iconic colorway. Of course, it is on a Jordan 1 Low colorway, so that is going to decrease demand for a lot of people. Personally, I will admit I'm not a big fan of Jordan 1 Lows, but it is really difficult to dislike the Jordan 1 Shadow colorway. Let's just hope that they have some good quality leather on these. We recently got to see another classic Jordan 1 colorway drop in the form of lows, and that was the Jordan 1 Black Toe. Unfortunately, even those didn't end up being profitable. They were just on the border of being profitable and bricking, so at best you can maybe make a couple of local sales, and I think that'll be the fate for these. They're mostly just going to be personals. At best, if you have no tax, maybe in large sizes you can make a couple of decent local sales, considering the retail is low at $140, but otherwise there are definitely solid personals if you're looking for a low for the spring and summer season. Then finally on May 11th for $215, the Jordan 4 Military Blue is finally making its grand return. Not only that, but this time they're going to be dropping with that lovely Nike Air on the back, and they are just going to look absolutely incredible. Of course, this is just a mock-up, but they're going to look precisely like this. The last time we got to see this colorway release, I think, was back in 2012, and it had the Jumpman on the back. Now, as of right now, when the UNC colorway is in really high demand, and these are very close to that, I would have to say these are going to have an incredible performance. But not only that, I think most of us definitely need a pair of these in our personal collection, because not only are they super wearable, but they're a classic must-have for everyone's collection. In terms of profitability, I am expecting these to be profitable with a good margin, especially in the larger sizes, and although they should be making a lot of stock, there's just so much demand that's going to be on these. Then on May 18th for $200, we have the Jordan 12 Red Taxi releasing for the first time. Honestly, I think a lot of people love the Jordan 12 Taxi colorway, me included, and seeing it with red instead of the gold definitely looks pretty cool. Now, of course, this is just a mock-up, so we're going to see how they do turn out, but I'd guess guess it's going to be pretty similar to these, and I'm pretty excited to see them. Although in terms of resale, I would have to say these are probably going to just be personals like we normally see for Jordan 12s. Next up, we got the Jordan 1 Team Red. These are dropping on May 25th for $180. There's not much to say when it comes to this pair. Like many recent Jordan 1s that we've seen that are not classic colorways, these are probably going to end up just being personals. Not only that, but if you want them, you could probably find them for below retail in the secondary market or even on sale. Next up, on May 25th for $210, we're getting another Jordan 4, this time the oxidized green. Nope, not the green glow greens, the oxidized greens. Jordan Brand is really teasing us. But anyway, this mock-up does look pretty nice, I have to say. Unfortunately, though, I wouldn't expect them to do that great, even though they are a Jordan 4. I'd say at best, maybe they're going to have potential for brick profit with a very poor margin, especially if you have no tax and in those larger sizes. But otherwise, they might just end up being personals. I could see them performing very similar to what we saw on the recent Jordan 4 Fire Red. Then on May 29th for $180, we'll be getting the Jordan 1 High Women's in medium brown. Although we did see the Jordan 1 Palomino brick, I will have to say these should definitely perform much better, and here's why. Often when it comes to Jordan 1s that have the black swoosh, white mid panel, and white toe box, they typically tend to do better than they otherwise would. That combined with the fact that these look like a poor man's Travis Scott, very similar to the Jordan 1 Mocha, I would expect these to perform very well because I think a lot of people want them just because of the fact that they look like Travis Scott Jordan 1s, which was very similar to the case with the Jordan 1 Mochas. With that said, I do think that these are going to perform well enough for profitability with a good margin. Now last and probably also least, we got the Jordan 17 Low Lightning. These are dropping on May 30th for $300. I know the audacity is insane, right? Nah, I hate to disrespect these because a lot of people who did play basketball actually really did like these back in 2002 when they first dropped. But actually, no, I'm going to disrespect these because they're dropping for $300? That's f***ing insane. Are you kidding me? Anyway, let's end it on a good note. We have an actual Travis Scott Jordan, which is supposed to be dropping sometime in spring. There might actually be two of them. If not, one of them will be in summer of 2024. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Sail Muslin Black and Fire Red pair. That stock keeping unit FZ8117-100. Obviously, we'll confirm as we get closer to the drop. But as of now, I'm pretty sure at least one should be dropping in spring. So either way, whatever colorway we end up getting, I think all of us will be grateful for, not only for our personal collections, but I think a lot of us will be reselling these too, and of course you're going to be able to make a solid amount of profit on these like you can on all Travis Scott Jordans. So this is just one of the many releases to look forward to in 2024. June 8th for $200, we'll be seeing the Jordan 6 Reverse Oreo, and this colorway should be looking like exactly what the name says. Pretty much you got that Oreo colorway on the midsole, the rest of the shoe being white. Now also keep in mind that these are all going to be mock-ups for the most part, courtesy of Z Sneakerheads. Now, given their color code and the name, they should look pretty much like this, but don't expect them all to be exactly like this. Anyway, it's a clean pair of Jordan 6s that could go with almost every single outfit. It's great for the summertime, being a white sneaker too, and it looks pretty nice with that icy outsole. In terms of resale though, don't expect these to be profitable. In fact, if you do want a personal, you might be able to catch these on sale for below retail. Next up, on June 20th for $190, we have another Jordan 11 Low. This time it is the Jordan 11 Low Women's in Legend Pink. This is a solid colorway for my 5% female audience. Perfect for the summertime with that white and being a low top sneaker. You can't go wrong with these, and I do think that there's a possibility that they do go on sale. So if you do want a personal pair, you might want to be patient. Definitely don't expect these to be profitable. Then on June 29th for $210, we got the Jordan 13 Dune Red, and wow, this is definitely one of the more unique Jordan 13s. It sort of reminds me of the Jordan 13 mid clot that we saw a long time ago, and I was a big fan of those. Now, of course, this is a mock-up, but given the color code with Dune Red, Terra Blush White, it should look pretty similar to this, and I have to say, I really like them. Definitely one of the more unique pairs of 13s. However, like most pairs of 13s, I still would expect these to just be personals, and there is a chance you might be able to get these for below retail on sale too if you are patient. Next up, on August 21st for $190, $240, we have the Jordan 1 Low Mocha. Now, of course, this is going to have a lot of demand and a lot of hype for just one reason, and of course, it's because they look just like Travis Scott's, just like how the Jordan 1 Mocha High performed very well. I do expect these to perform well too. Even though they're a Jordan 1 Low, I do expect them to perform slightly worse because of that, but this colorway should definitely generate decent demand since they are a poor man's Travis Scott. A lot of people are going to want them just because they look like Travis Scott's. With that said, I actually am expecting these to be profitable, considering the retail is $140. I would expect them to be profitable with a good margin and potentially better than that, especially on the large size 10 and above, which is crazy because on a lot of the classic Jordan 1 lows, we haven't even seen those be profitable like the Jordan 1 Black Toes, but I actually do think that these have pretty solid potential. Now, you're also going to notice we just jumped all the way to August 21st, and that's because the majority of these shoes are so far out that they don't have precise dates yet. Don't worry, we're going to go through much more after we first go through these that do have dates. Next up, we got the Jordan 12 Wolf Gray. These are dropping in August, but they don't have a date yet. Retail most likely will be $210. This is another Jordan 12 that you can match with almost every single outfit. Super easy to pull off, but I don't know if they're ideal for the summertime. Granted, they might release towards the end of the summer. Overall, though, it's a clean pair of 12s. Hard to dislike these, but there's also nothing that really makes these special. Anyway, I don't expect these to be profitable like most Jordan 12s. In fact, you might also be able to get these for below retail. Now, jumping to some that don't have dates yet, but are dropping sometime within the summer. For $180, we'll be seeing the Jordan 1 High White Obsidian Summit White. This colorway really reminds me of a Georgetown colorway like what we saw on the Georgetown 11 lows, where you got that gum bottom and you got that navy and white upper. I think it looks pretty solid. Again, of course, just a mock-up, but we'll probably see something looking pretty close to these given what the color code is. In terms of profitability, though, I can't say the same. Like the majority of Jordan 1s that are not classic colorways, I'd expect these to just be personals, and you could probably get them for below retail in the secondary market if they don't go on sale. Next up, we got a Jordan... You gotta be f***ing kidding me. Alright, so they must have heard me talking about the Jordan 2s, because now they're making a Jordan 2 3. Alright, so you know, I'll actually hold my breath on these. Maybe they'll end up being somewhat decent when we see the actual version, because I'm pretty sure this is just a mock-up. And look, I'm not hating on the colorway. It's white, red, can't really go wrong with that, but I don't know how I feel about the build right now. Maybe they'll grow on me. Honestly, let me know what you guys are thinking about these down below. I definitely do not expect these to be profitable, and I am expecting them to go on sale, but who knows, maybe all of a sudden everybody's just going to love this silhouette. But, you know, call me crazy for just making an educated guess that these are not going to sell out. Retail's $160, and you'll be able to get them on sale for $120. Next up, sometime in the summer for $250, we have the J Balvin Jordan 3 Rio. Yes, we are getting another J Balvin 3. This time, it's coming with the same exact color pattern, but the primary is going to be black rather than the tan that we saw on the prior pair. And I have to say, this one looks pretty nice too. I was a huge fan of the prior one, and those also ended up being extremely hyped and performed very well, and I'd expect the same to be the case for these, but I would expect them to perform just slightly worse than those did. But nonetheless, despite a retail of $250, I would still expect these to be profitable with a good margin, especially in the larger sizes 10 and above. More importantly, I definitely want a personal pair of these, so I'm hoping that J Balvin does a website drop again, just like he did for the tan pair of the Jordan 3s, because that was a great job. Just like on the recent A Ma Maniere Jordan 5, all members did have the early link for the new domain that they were going to be using. It was a nice, easy advantage, easy cop for anyone who wanted any size. So obviously, we always look forward to these unique types of releases. Again, if you are interested in endurance, you can check it out with the link below, and if not, completely fine. You could also check out that same link for completely free sneaker updates. Next up, in summer for $160, okay, so next up, we got another Travis Scott Jordan dropping. This time, it is the Travis Scott Jordan Jumpman Jack Trainer, formerly known as the Travis Scott Jordan Cut the Check. That's what we originally thought they were going to be named. Now, I think there might be two colorways that are dropping in summer, or at least spring and summer, but if not, there's definitely at least going to be one pair, and that should be the Sail Muslin Black and Fire Red pair. Stock keeping unit FZ8117-100, but obviously honestly, we'll see. We might end up seeing 2 of them, and we also just saw another pair of the Jack Trainers just come out, so it looks like we might see a lot of different colorways of this. We'll see as we do get closer to the release dates, though. I'll keep you guys updated. Just make sure you are subscribed and enable post notifications. This way you don't miss out on anything. It is pretty awesome that Travis Scott finally gets his own signature Jordan. Now, I will admit, if these were not Travis Scott's, I don't know if I would have given them the same chance as I am now. Maybe I wouldn't have paid them much mind, but I will admit, since Travis Scott, it is his sneaker, I have been looking at them a little closer, and I'll admit, okay, I do think that they look pretty nice. You might hate on me in the comments saying I only like them because Travis Scott wore them, and you know what? Subconsciously, that might be true. But at the end of the day, I think they look pretty aesthetically nice. Definitely very excited to get some of these colorways. Now, in terms of resale, of course, you could expect these to be very profitable with a great to incredible margin, especially because retail should only be $200. We'll see as we get closer to the drop, and of course, I'm going to make a how-to-cop guide so you guys can get your hands on pairs. Now, jumping into fall, what better way to transition than with those Jordan Jumpman Jack Taupe Hazes that I was alluding to earlier. So this is the other colorway that I was just talking about that just recently came out. I'm not a big fan of this colorway, at least relative to the other colorways we've already seen. Now, of course, this is just a mock-up, but given that the color code is Taupe Haze, Sail Thunder, Blue Gum, and Light Brown, it should look something kind of like this. I'm not a huge fan of it. Let me know what you guys are thinking below, but in terms of resale, they definitely still should be profitable with a very good to great margin. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated as we get to the release, though. Also in fall, most likely slightly above the usual retail of $140, probably for $160, we got the PSG Jordan 1 Low. Now, of course, this is just a mock-up, and I really think in terms of resale for these, it depends on what they're going to look like, so I'm not going to make a judgment right now, and that's because we've seen the Jordan 4 and the Jordan 5 PSG appreciate really well over time, and I think the Jordan 1 Low silhouette does have that potential, assuming it is a good design. Now, considering it is going to have infrared, I'm not 100% sure if that is going to be possible. As of now, I'd lean more towards these being personals, but we'll see as we do get closer to the drop. Also in fall, for $180, we got the Jordan 1 High Metallic Gold. This is just going to be a black and metallic gold sail colorway. Unfortunately, they don't have the white mid panel, they don't have a black swoosh, and they don't have a white toe box either, so I don't think a lot of us are going to be big fans of this colorway, but if you do like the look of metallic gold, these might be for you. Personally, not a big fan, just based off this mock-up at least. And in terms of resale, I definitely don't expect these to be profitable like most non-classic Jordan 1s recently. I'd expect these to most likely go on sale or go for below retail in the secondary market, so be patient if you do want a personal. Also in fall, probably for $200 like the prior Jordan 3, unless they increase retail like the Jordan 4s. In that case, they'd be $225. Either way, this is a big deal. We got another A Ma Maniere Jordan 3 dropping, this time in the Burgundy Crush colorway. Of course, this is just a mock-up, but either way, I'm pretty confident that these are going to look incredible. Usually Maniere does a really great job of what they have to work with, and in terms of resale, despite the fact Maniere is going to charge high shipping on there or even on sneakers with the free shipping, I still am expecting these to be profitable with a good margin, especially in the larger sizes, so this is definitely just another drop to look forward to. But wait, there's more. Yes, we are getting another Jordan 4 A Ma Maniere, this time the Phantom Light Iron Ore Muslin Burgundy Crush. So this is another one with that same kind of look. It's going to have a vintage vibe with a lot of earthy tones and that Burgundy Crush, of course. I think they're probably going to come out great. I have full confidence in A Ma Maniere to do their thing, and like the prior Jordan 4s, I do think these are going to be profitable as well with a good margin, especially in large sizes. Also in fall, for $210, we'll be getting another Jordan 4, this time in the Smoke Gray colorway. Of course, this is just a mock-up, pretty basic, but based on the color code, it is going to look something like this with smoke gray, iron gray, cement gray, particle gray. Of course, it's going to be a very wearable Jordan 4, and those tend to do pretty well actually. So I do think that these will be profitable with a decent to good margin. Nothing crazy, but definitely a good opportunity to look forward to. Not only that, but of course for all my fellow Jordan 4 lovers out there, this is just going to be another very wearable Jordan 4 that could go with almost any outfit. Also in fall, probably for $210, we have the Jordan 5 RKO Brown dropping. This is definitely one of the more unique looks. I think these would have been great if they had dropped, a couple of years ago. As of right now, though, I don't think they're going to perform too well. probably say they're just going to be personals like most Jordan 5s, and they might even go on sale too, so be patient if you do want a personal pair. Also in fall for $210, we'll be seeing the return of a classic Jordan 6, and that is the Jordan 6 Olympic. A lot of people really like this colorway, including myself. Very clean with that navy and white upper, and you gotta love the subtle red accents on them. Very similar to what you would see on a true blue Jordan 3, for example. I think a lot of people are excited for these, but nonetheless, just like they were excited for the Carmines and the UNC 6s, I still do think that these are going to just be personals, but if you do want a personal, I would not sleep on these. I don't expect them to go on sale. Also in fall for $200, we got the Jordan 13 Midnight Navy dropping. This looks very similar to what we'd see on a Georgetown type colorway. You got that gum bottom, and then you got the navy and white upper, and honestly, I think it looks pretty nice. Not usually a big fan of the gum bottoms, but I definitely think it works here. Nonetheless, if you do want a personal pair, I do expect these to go on sale, so be patient if you do want a personal, like most Jordan 13s. And last, and probably least, aside from the audacious $300 retail, we got the Jordan 17 Varsity Red and also UNC dropping. Now, of course, these are really solid colorways, but I don't think a lot of you guys like Jordan 17s. Maybe if you play basketball and you're looking for something with a vintage look, these are good for you. They got that nice retro style to them, but unfortunately for the everyday wearer, unless you're just getting these to put them on your shelf, I don't think we want to pay $300 for these. So now there is a chance that they end up making these like super limited and they actually end up being somewhat profitable because of that. I'm not sure where production is right now, but if you are interested in stock, we'll know that closer to the release date, so just make sure you are subscribed and enable post notifications for all types of updates like that. And of course, follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, for urgent updates and info like shock drops, and for early information before the shock drops actually occur, consider joining Endurance with the link below, or you could also check out that same link for completely free sneaker updates. And remember, we're also giving out one free Endurance channel with that. Other than that though, have a fantastic rest of your day, and it looks like we got a lot of great releases ahead, but remember, this is only a small fraction of what we're going to be seeing. It is way too far out right now to be knowing all the releases. Speaking of which, after recording that, here's another one, the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low. These are dropping in fall 2024 for $150. This is obviously quite different from the original olive women's pair that we saw. Nonetheless, you could still expect these to be just as profitable, if not more so, than that other pair we've seen. And we also got word that there's going to be a Jordan 4 White Thunder. Yes, that's right. It's pretty much the yellow Thunder, but instead of the accents being yellow, they're white, allowing these to be matched with almost every single outfit. Super cool concept. I'm really excited for these. They're dropping sometime in August for $215, and I would expect these to perform around what the Thunders did, if not perhaps even slightly better, since they're much more universal. So definitely a drop to look forward to, whether you want personals like myself or if you're looking for a quick profit.